Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Know how did you guys come to the crypto space, but I would assume that your story may be very close to mine, and one of the reasons, partial reasons why I found out about the cryptocurrencies and why I started to invest and dig in the space and everything is that because, well, let's imagine you're like 30 or 40 years old and you have your every like daily job and you have some savings, you're trying to make your career, buy a house, have a family, yada yada yada, and then okay, you saved your earned and saved some decent chunk of money on your bank account, and you're thinking, okay, we actually have some kind of percentage in my bank account, and it's cool, right? Like you have whatever, it depends of course, but let's say you have like 1%, for example, of your money. You have like $100,000 on your bank account. Okay, oh, next year I'll have $101,000. Isn't that great? So I can actually use this $100 and for free basically. And then you start to understand that, oh wait, there is actually inflation, and usually the banking percent like which you have on your deposit account is lower than the inflation. So it means that although the quantity of the money which I have increased, but the actual value of this money decreased. So money is devaluated, and I couldn't buy the same amount of goods next year, although I have more money in the actual number. So then you start to think, okay, maybe I shall buy different currencies, or maybe I shall find a better bank, or something like that, because like some currencies are growing, some currencies are falling, and then you start to think, oh, okay, maybe I shall buy gold, for example, because it's much more stable historically. And you're digging more and more, and you realize that unless you will be actively investing, constantly trying to track the conditions of the market, which is better, like equities, commodities, bonds, whatever, and then as soon as if you will not do that on a regular basis and you will not spend an enormous amount of time on that, then you probably will not be able to save your money in the long term. As soon as they will stay in the bank, they will melt eventually. And this is the sort of a legal form of the slavery at some point, because even though you can save some money, but a part of the money which you will have to spend for food, for your living, then even that savings will be eliminated, will disappear, because of the nature of the essence of the economical system we live in. So then you start to try to find the ways how to leave this, how to get out of that system, and you find, oh, there's actually such thing as crypto, and there is a deflationary model, there is a scarcity in the number of bitcoins, and that's so cool. And yeah, that's the way how to preserve your capital and even increase it. So then you think, yeah, of course, volatility and so on, but eventually, when like within 10, 20 years, when you will finally need your money for the better purpose than just leaving it in the bank, then you may have much more value of that money. And then you start to dig in the space, you start to realize there are the altcoins that you can trade, and yada yada yada. But yeah, that's the whole point. And the thing is that you see there's this deflationary model which you already mentioned, and the idea is that currently Bitcoin has the least inflation among the other assets in the world, and it is defined in the code. It can be changed, and we know that there is 21 million bitcoins, and some of them actually are lost already. So the demand will be higher and the price should grow, at least shall not fall, as we see with fiat currencies. So, and this is the point why huge figures in the traditional finances don't like Bitcoin and crypto. Not because it is a fraud or it is Ponzi or it is money laundering or tax evasion, whatever, just because it goes against the traditional approach of the economy. And the current approach is capitalism. And the idea is that we would have to increase the number of the money, basically, in the circulation in order to make the economy grow. So like you need to have additional product made, and in order to do that you need to some additional funds, some additional money to serve for this purpose and to maintain this product, basically. And this is impossible without the debt, and without giving a loan to some manufacturer or farm or whatever. It's impossible them to grow, to make a product in the end. But this system, of course, you may argue about that, but this system is sort of course, it's not first of all, it's not the only one which can exist. Second, it can exist only when it expands, right? And we live on our small planet. What will happen? How do you think? What will happen when we will not have any other place to expand our economy? Like, if everything will be already covered, if we'll not find new markets, what will happen then? It will be a bubble, and bubble will burst, and the bubble will burst. It will be quite of the dramatic moment for a lot of the average people and poor people. And then, of course, the bubble will grow again, and such a cyclic behavior may be able to last for a while, but still it's not the way how you can make most of population on the earth happier or wealthier. This is how you can make the richest even more rich and the poorest more poor. I don't know, let me know what you think about it, but this is similar to a lot of the thoughts in Bitcoin space, and that's why you basically have the idea of deflationary model, which is not appreciated. But just imagine how much, also like the efficiency of the current system, how much efforts, money, and the capital you spend to, let's say, make a new iPhone or whatever, not a new smartphone model, and advertise it and make people want it, and make people want it to buy it and spend more money and their time and resources. And then after a couple of years it becomes obsolete, and you have to throw it away and buy a new model. So how much resources, taking everything of that into account, how much resources you'd have to spend to make all this system run? It's ridiculous. And then we have our pollutions and climate changes and everything. Is it actually worth to do? Maybe it's better to make like that fridge which will work for 50 years and it will be solid, like a little more expensive than current ones, and then just throw away old ones every 2 years. Yeah, of course you can argue that there is like a better model every year and everything, but there are things which don't need to be updated like with such a passion. Anyway, this is just a standpoint. Let me know what you think. Let's look at the price of Bitcoin and crypto, what is happening. So yesterday, somewhere around here, I posted a tweet, so please follow me on Twitter, about what would happen. Actually, I cleared up this chart a little. What will happen if we would have the ideal case of the collecting the stop orders in this low price region of Bitcoin, if it will be like without any manipulation, or sort of collecting stop orders, still manipulation, but still. So we were there at this channel, and then apparently there are a few other support resistance levels, and then there are some areas which I depicted here in the colored rectangles. There are areas with biggest number of stops. So like this is for longs, this is for shorts, longs, shorts, longs. And then you can see that if we would collect them consequently, then we'll go something like this, and then higher, then lower, then higher. Of course, we can go either high or even lower again without going up. So it's not necessarily be such a zigzag. It may be quite different, with a quite different order, but still those levels, those areas are the sort of the collections of the lot of the orders, stop orders basically, and liquidations as well, if you're talking about BitMEX, for example, when we can get our liquidity if you are a huge player. And in fact, you can see that from yesterday it fell to one of those fields. Finally, we have the maybe we will have another move. So let's see how it will be evolving, but still at least one leg is already there. Another thing which I was pointing out is that we currently are bouncing off the certain resistance line. There are actually two. One goes from this $6,200 or $300 once we almost touch it, and now we touched it again. We didn't break it yet. It depends, actually. You can draw it a little bit like this, so you can say that yeah, we broke it, but then it's a false breakout. And the second line is like that, so we basically were bouncing off of both of them, and as well as this 4,370 resistance level, and now we've been through $4,000 and are collecting some volume around here. In fact, you can see this area with a bigger volume when we basically go exactly through that line, basically following these arrows which I drew yesterday. We'll see what will happen, but so far so good. And one last thing which I was going to mention is this one. I mean, regarding to the price, is I already mentioned that before briefly, but this is the price of the Tether coin with respect to the dollar, and from basically April of last year. What you see here is that as soon as the price of Tether goes down, we see the low level of Bitcoin somewhere. Let's say here we have the dip, here we have the dip, here February we have the dip, now we have the dip, and even here we should have that dip, but this is a bit different situation, and eventually just play out even worse. And then when the Tether recovers, it will recover eventually, I guess. So when it recovers, as it always does, we see the rise of the price again, recovering, rise, recovering, it's higher, recovering, rise, recovering, rise, recovering, rise. Will we see this scheme repeating again? Hopefully. And as soon as the interventions of the Tether will be higher than the demand, and we will see Tether price higher than $1, maybe, although it's really arguable with the condition of Tether right now. It's not clear whether it's backed and everything, and the emission of Tether it's not clear. So anyway, if as soon as we will see that, I would think that probably we may have the return to the certain higher level, so in the price of Bitcoin, and that would be the start of the bull run, hopefully. And the last but not least is the news from the Fidelity investments. Despite all the FUD and all the uncertainty which we have recently with the price and general, they say that they're looking to expand digital asset trading beyond Bitcoin and Ether, and maybe they will include 5 or 7 big cryptocurrencies in their platform. The thing is, if everything will be that bad and Bitcoin will go to zero or something, would they do that announcement? Would they do that development? I highly doubt that. I don't think that they would do, and basically I think the huge and like really unexpected things may happen in the space as soon as the huge players will FOMO in this market. Okay, hopefully it was useful and interesting. If it was, please leave a like and a comment, and I hope to see you tomorrow in the next update. Let's see how the price will behave. Maybe it will reach the new target. And yeah, don't forget that everything which I say is my personal opinion, not financial advice, as usual. And safe trading, guys. Goodbye.